There was a pause before she answered. Just a beat. But if you've watched Hegerty long enough, you know that beat means something. And the moment she finally addressed the speculation around the chase's future, it almost felt like the air in the room changed. For weeks, fans had been piecing together fragments. Filming gaps. Cryptic social posts. Talk of a new spin-off shot overseas. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise sat Hegerty, the governess herself, being asked directly what was actually going on. Anyone who's followed her career knows she doesn't do vague answers. She doesn't dodge. So when she finally addressed it, there was a sense that whatever came next would settle things, one way or another. What made the moment land so hard wasn't really the information itself. It was the tone underneath it. Hegerty has built an entire public persona around blunt honesty, that dry, almost theatrical bluntness that made her a fan favorite in the first place. So watching her shift into something more measured, more careful with her words, felt noticeably different. Viewers picked up on it instantly. Something about the way she chose her phrasing suggested she was aware of just how much weight her answer would carry. She explained that filming had genuinely slowed, not vanished, but slowed, because the team behind the show simply had an enormous backlog of episodes already completed. Hundreds of them, sitting ready to air. And rather than that sounding like bad news, she framed it almost as relief. A breathing space. Time for cast members to chase other projects, other passions, other parts of themselves that get buried under the relentless filming schedule of a daily quiz show. But here's where it got interesting. Underneath that practical explanation was something quietly emotional. Because when you've watched someone occupy the same chair, deliver the same kind of cutting one-liners for the better part of 2 decades, hearing them talk about time apart from the format, even temporarily, feels strange. Almost unsettling, in a comforting routine kind of way. Many viewers admitted online that something about hearing her discuss a pause, even a planned one, made the show suddenly feel less permanent than they'd always assumed it was. And then there was the bigger story stitched into all of this, the international expansion. A new format taking the chasers beyond the familiar studio walls, into locations across Europe, with whispers of going further if it performs well. On paper, that's just a format update. But emotionally, for longtime fans, it read like something closer to evolution. The show stepping outside its comfort zone after years of consistency. And whenever something that familiar starts to shift shape, even slightly, audiences feel it before they can fully explain why. What stood out most, though, was how Hegerty handled the inevitable question about budget pressures. Rather than deflecting or downplaying it, she leaned into honesty about an industry-wide reality, the kind of behind-the-scenes financial strain rarely discussed so openly by a presenter mid-interview. It almost felt like she was choosing to demystify the moment rather than protect it, trusting that viewers would respect the transparency more than a polished non-answer. That choice mattered, because in an era where celebrity interviews often feel rehearsed within an inch of their life, watching someone speak candidly about industry pressure, scheduling reality, and personal ambition all at once gave the moment an authenticity that's increasingly rare on morning television. There was no spin, no performance, just someone explaining her professional life as it actually exists right now. Social media reaction afterward leaned heavily toward appreciation. Comments praised her honesty, her refusal to feed speculation, and her ability to turn what could have been an awkward, defensive segment into something that felt strangely reassuring. Some people watching interpreted her calm, almost matter-of-fact delivery as proof that nothing dramatic was actually happening behind the scenes, just an industry adjusting, the way it always does. Still, something lingers after watching it back. Not worry exactly. More a quiet awareness that even the most familiar fixtures on our screens are shaped by forces we rarely think about. Scheduling, budgets, personal ambition, timing. And Hegerty didn't reveal a crisis. She revealed a transition. And maybe that's exactly why this moment is still being talked about now. So what did you take from the way she handled it? Did her honesty feel reassuring to you, or did it raise more questions than it answered? Maybe what stayed with viewers wasn't the announcement itself, but everything it quietly suggested about what's coming next.